This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Her new book, Take Back Your Time, The Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance. 1 week.
One week from today. I can't believe it. It feels like the pre-sale has flown. I'm so excited.
Which means a lot of different things. #1, all of you that have already bought the book, and there are a bunch of you, thank you very much, it'll be shipped next week, and you'll have it on your doorstep somewhere around Monday or Tuesday of next week, something like that. Lots of good stuff going on. And, of course, that also means there's only 1 week left in all of the special deals associated with pre-sale.
Yes. So if you've been holding out because you're thinking, oh, I'm not going to get it because it's not going to ship, if you get it now, it will ship very soon and you get the free stuff. But if you wait until next week when it launches, you're going to miss out on the ebook, the audiobook, the ticket to the live event on Thursday, the access to the private Facebook group with me, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, if you're thinking about getting it, go ahead. Even if it's for Christmas, go ahead and get it now because you get the freebies. It just makes sense.
Yeah, you get about $100 worth of stuff, a little less than $100 worth of stuff extra when you buy the $20 book, and you buy it this week rather than next week. If you wait till next week at this time, you will pay $20 and you will get a $20 book.
Yeah.
And that's what you'll get.
That's
so
great. Yeah.
This is the deal. It is the Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance. It's called Take Back Your Time. It's all about productivity. It's all about doing, not just being productive, but being productive in a way that allows your life to be sustainable.
Yeah, it does. It really redefines this whole word. It's taking a new angle on it. And I think that's important because what I've seen, Dave, and I've definitely been guilty of this myself, is we think the answer to our balance problem is that we just need to do more. And so we wake up earlier, stay up later, and run harder and faster in between, but we still feel like something's not right. And so I help you get to the root issue of why you feel like that in the first place. I help you figure out what your version of balance looks like in this season and then take very practical steps to achieve it. So I really feel like it's a very new take on this old conversation, and to be honest, a word that needed redefining.
You know, I hadn't thought about that, but if you're on a tightrope trying to balance, the harder you try, the more out of balance you get. And the more people yell at you that you need to be in balance, the harder it is.
And have you ever seen a tightrope walker? Like, they're not looking like they're having fun. Like, every fiber on their body is tense. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live like that. So I'm like, let's get rid of these analogies.
And a lot of people kind of, in a secret part of their soul, are wishing they fall. I mean, come on.
I mean, and we've got all these analogies of tightrope walking, spinning plates, and juggling balls. I don't want to live my life like that. That sounds hard, risky, and not fun. Yeah, it does. And you know what? Therein lies the problem we have in our world today. Our lives are a circus.
That's it.
I'm here to help you with your circus.
All of this balance stuff happens in the circus. So stop it. Stop it. Get out of the tent. Get away from the circus. Get away from the 3 rings. And let's start doing the right things at the right time in the right degree for where you are right now in this season. And that's Christy's take on this stuff. It's going to help a bunch. September 13th is the last day to do the pre-order. That means that it is the last day. That's the last day to pre-order the book. Get $50 plus almost $100 worth of goodies. On Thursday night of next week, 1 week from this Thursday, she and I will be doing a live stream event to go along with the book, Take Back Your Time, The Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance. And it is called what?
Take Back Your Time Live.
Who knew?
So crazy.
That's a strange name for us to do, having something to do with this book. But yeah, there you go. So it's actually, Christy is doing the event, and they're letting me be on there for a few minutes so I can act like I'm important.
Everybody knows better. So, and it's a book signing. If you come in Nashville, it's a book signing. You get your book signed if you want to join us here in person, and you can get a ticket.
We got a few slots left, not many. It's pretty well booked up. It's not a big crowd we're going to have for the live studio audience.
That's right.
But you can do that and come out, and it's going to be a great event. That event is a paid live stream. or free?
It's free if you get your pre-order copy of the book.
Okay.
So go ahead and get your copy of the book.
Otherwise,
then
you're going to have to pay to watch it.
Yeah, and that's at RamseySolutions.com. And the other thing that I want people to know, too, which has been kind of fun, Dave, last week we sent out the ebook to all of the people that have pre-ordered by that date. I believe it was September 1st, and we're already getting reviews. So if you're on the fence, go to RamseySolutions.com. You can look at reviews for the book for our early readers and see what they think and hear from real people. So that might answer some questions if you have any.
Very cool stuff. All right, Andrew is first up this hour in Detroit, Michigan. Andrew, welcome to the Ramsey Show. How can we help?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Christy. Congrats on the new book.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I'm calling. It's relatively fresh news, but my mom has been pretty sick with diabetes these last few months, and she's on the upswing of it, but from it, her vision has gone, so she's just been declared legally blind. So she's applied, and she's going to be on disability, making about $1,800 a month, which is not a lot in comparison to what she was making, which was, I want to say, closer to $3,000 a month. But I guess just generally, my mom's pretty steadfast that she wants to keep working in some capacity, and she's a very independent human being, so I have no doubt she'll find a way to make that happen in some way. But I guess I'm just asking about just general advice with limitations of income like that. Obviously, the scope of her abilities are going to be a lot lower than what they were. How you might work your way through the baby steps. So right now, she has about $25,000 in debt. I intend personally about paying about half of that because it was for a student loan of mine. And she has about $30,000 in the bank. She doesn't know a lot about you. I follow you a lot, obviously, Dave. But
yeah, how old is she?
My mom is 57.
5'7".
Yes.
And you're how old?
I'm 24.
Oh my goodness! And what do you make?
Me, I make $89,000 a year.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. This is a tough situation for both of you. And she's lucky and blessed to have you there to walk with her through this. So the SSI is what she's going to be on. Will give her the limitations that she can make in addition to the disability without putting her disability in jeopardy. Okay?
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. That's how payments she'll be on.
It is, and they'll give her the limitations that she can make on the books legally. Some people in those situations work off the books for cash and do whatever they want to do. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying sometimes that happens. And so I think then you sit down and you work as quickly as you can with your $89,000 to pay off the portion that you're going to pay off. And then we're just on a very, very, very tight budget in her case. So it's going to be a slow movement. The main thing she's got to do is take care of herself first and then worry about this debt and other stuff second, way down the list. Take care of the food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities before you do anything else, especially in this situation.
Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions here on The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Mohammed is with us in the Netherlands. Hey, how are you?
Hey, Dave and Christy, how are you guys doing?
Great. How can we help?
Hey, I got a real estate question.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you already said, I'm in the Netherlands, and I really like real estate, so I started investing it when I was pretty young. And but with my work, there is an opportunity come to the United States, and I was wondering if I should sell everything and go from there in the States, begin again real estate, or should I keep it maybe and go from long distance, even though I've never even done something like that and it looks pretty hard. So that was my question, basically.
How long do you think you'll be in the States?
For at least this project would be a year, but I would probably be there for like forever. I mean, that's the plan. That would be the goal.
Oh, okay. So your plan is to move to the United States permanently.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When do you? Right now, the probability of that. Right now, the probability of 1 year is very high. When will you know more on a very high level what the probability of you staying forever is? Probably somewhat into that year, I'm guessing.
Yeah, correct. Yes. It's correct. Yeah, probably after like the 3-4 months when I can also see about how because I'm in the industrial sector, so that would be if I work with the company and maybe others as a contractor to see what's the market like and if I fit into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I would hate for you to come down here for 1 year and go back and have sold everything.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm probably holding it all for the first year and renting it, and maybe get some help, a property management firm to help you rent it. With that not being the long-term play, but let's get your probability locked in that you're not going back.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to burn the ships and you're not going back no matter what, then you can just sell it all now. Yep. But I think that your probability of knowing the market, getting a comfort level, in terms of plugging into your career, that kind of stuff, if it takes you a year to do that in this first year of your contract, feels kind of wise to hold off for 1 year and then sell everything. What do you think?
Yeah, that makes sense. But I have already worked for a couple American companies like 3M and ExxonMobil and stuff, but in the Netherlands and Belgium. So I already have connections with them, and they offered me in advance. But, I'd rather be sure than possible. That's why I said they gave me a contract for a year. But, that makes sense what you're saying. So, yeah.
Well, Mohammed,
but I was just...
The idea, too, just because this is such a major life change, major, that if you can find any way to ease into it, then it's just going to reduce your stress and it's going to give you that safety net and peace of mind. Because if you did burn the ships, move here, etc., but you did want to go home, you almost might make the wrong decision or justify staying because you had nothing to go back to. This way, you're going to be able to look at it more objectively in a year and say, okay, do I want to stay? Am I ready to sell everything there? Or do I want to go back? And you've just got more options. And we're just so big on helping you guys have options so you can make the best decision. I love the idea of you easing into this where you can.
Yeah, if you had taken a new job from, inside the United States to inside the United States, and you were moving and you were not coming back, then we sell everything.
Right.
That would just be, so, you're moving from, California to Texas, and you're not coming back, then yeah, you go ahead and sell the stuff. You don't hold long distance landlording property as a long-term strategy. This is a little different.
You don't know if you're going to like it.
You're changing countries.
Yeah.
And somewhat you're changing cultures.
Mm-hmm.
At least some cultural differences. And so you're going to want to find that niche and get a comfort level before you liquidate all the hard work you've done to this point. Yeah. And then when you sell it on, I don't know what your tax implications there in the Netherlands would be. I don't know anything about that. But certainly you would take that money and you can move it stateside in terms of buying some some investment properties and other things here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure or you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. With free samples, free shipping, and the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Brody in Alaska. I'm an 18-year-old entrepreneur, and I'm starting college this fall. I started a residential painting company a few months ago. We paint exteriors and interiors, and the business has really taken off quickly. I have one full-time employee, and our success has been so great that we're turning down work. My take-home pay is $1,800 per week. Could you give me some advice on how to grow my business quickly without burning myself out? Well, I'll tell you, Dave, the thing that jumps out to me about this question is the fact that he's 18 years old, about to start college. So to me, that changes the answer a little bit because you're about to become a student. Whereas if this was your full-time gig, you're 30 years old and you just want to grow it, okay, we could talk about increasing your prices. We could talk about hiring more staff and scaling in that way. But for Brody, I mean, your A1 is being a student. So it's not that we're going to ignore the business. I know a lot of college students that have a business in addition to being a student. I just wouldn't make that your top priority where you're sacrificing attending classes or doing homework because you're trying to lead a huge staff team. I don't think that that's the right priority at this stage.
Yeah, if the only thing you do is make $90,000 a year while you go through 4 years of college,
you're going to be okay.
Brody, that was pretty ambitious right there. You don't have to add ambition on top of that. We're pretty impressed already, dude. You're freaking 18 years old. You're making $1,800 a week. Take home pay. Yeah. So seriously, that's pretty impressive. I don't think we grow this business. I would grow it only enough to maintain it.
Yep.
And let's get through 4 years of school, and then maybe you go back and teach business at that college after you're done. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because most of your professors in the business category have never made $1,800 a week in running their own business. So there you go. Wow,
that's impressive.
It's amazing.
I love questions like that.
What a kid, man! What a kid! I love it. All right, Max is in Chattanooga. Hey, Max, how are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
So I just had a quick question. Right now, I currently have a truck payment that's about $400 a month. And I have about $6,800 left on it. And I have right now about $16,000 left in my savings. And I just recently had to move out of where I was living, where I was able to afford both the truck payment and my rent. And right now I'm living somewhere where I don't know if I'll be able to afford both of those. And I was just wondering if I should take the money out of my savings and just go ahead and pay the truck off.
Well, why'd you move somewhere you can't afford?
Well, it's not that I can't afford it.
It's just that you can't afford it.
I don't know if I can afford both the truck payment and where I'm living currently. It was kind of a very last minute thing, and I had to move in a couple of months. And this was about the only place that was available for me to move into.
How old are you?
22.
Okay, I'm calling BS. You had a couple of months to make a decision, and you made a decision to rent a place you can't afford. You were not forced. You were not forced into this. You are not a victim of the real estate market in Chattanooga. You're a victim of how lazy you were when you were looking for a place to live.
Yes.
Well, we're on the same page, Max. Right. We're on the same page.
Hey, we love you, man. I love you. So how much you owe on this truck? You said you owe $6,000 on the truck. Yes, I'd pay it off today. What do you make a year, sir?
About $25,000.
Okay. What do you do?
I work retail right now, and I'm going back to school next semester to finish out my degree.
In what?
Business management.
Great. Good move. Very good call. Good. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to send you a copy of the book, The Total Money Makeover, to show you how to handle money while you're fighting your way through this. I'm proud of you. You're doing good stuff. Here's the trick, man. Don't let stuff happen to you on the money side. You happen to it. You have to make things fit your world. You don't cave to the circumstances around you, or you will lose. And that's what puts you in this position. So I've done it too. I know exactly how it feels. That's why I can pick on you. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. Kelly is with us. Kelly is in Warner Robins, Georgia. Hi, Kelly. What's up?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Christy. How are you guys doing?
Great.
What's going
How
on?
can we help?
So, I have quite a few financial questions, but I'm going to stick with the one that I'm with right now. It's a 401k question, and I have seen and watched a couple of your videos with people who have about the same questions with using your 401k to pay off debt. And I know that it is not a good idea. I'm completely aware of it. I don't have a lot in my 401k. So in my opinion, I don't feel like I'm taking that hard of it. And I know it will be because I think it takes like 30% out. I'm in the lower tax bracket. Basically what I'm wanting to use it for is to purchase a vehicle that I don't owe any money on. I currently have a truck loan that I'm wanting to get rid of. I want to come up from this truck loan. So my plan is to sell it and then use what out of my 401k, kind of what's left over after I purchase a vehicle, to kind of pay off like the other little bit of debt that I do have. I have a total of $25,500 in debt, and the majority of that is from my truck.
How much of this is the truck?
It's $19,300.
And how much is in your 401k?
I only have $13,000. That's between. I have.
So, Kelly, essentially what you're saying is this, okay? In order to execute my plan, I want to borrow $13,000 at 30% interest.
Okay.
That's what you're saying. Now, you're not saying it directly, but that is the effect of your proposal.
Okay.
When the smoke clears. And that's why you've heard this call so many times as you've watched YouTube on the same subject. And here's what's happening, and I commend you for trying to figure out a way out of this, because you've recognized the truck is the problem and it's got to go. And I really think you're very wise in that regard. But what ends up happening is, I know you because I am you. I see you in the mirror when I look in it. And we're people that, we're rip the Band-Aid off people. Even if it hurts, I want to be done with it.
Yes.
And we have a tendency in making our financial decisions to let that color our decision. And we don't really, I did this stuff in my 20s, and I know exactly I know the feeling that you're like, I just want to get this over with. Is that correct?
Yes, because
Yeah.
I see it as hurting me more than I am, like, because all of my money is going to these loans, and I'm actually able to pay it. I would rather have it going towards like saving. I would rather put that. It's a $400 a month payment.
Since you bought the truck, you've had a wake up call, and you've that's in the rearview mirror, no pun intended. And you're looking back there and you're going, dadgummit, and I got to clean this up now. But truthfully, I want you to find a more painful, slower way to clean this up that is more painful on the short term and less painful on the long term. Here's a principle for everybody out there. When it comes to money, if it feels good this week but bad over the period of a decade, then it's the wrong decision.
Right.
And that's what this one is. It falls in that bucket. Because it feels good to cash this out and clean up all these bills and do all this other stuff. So what do you make a year?
I'm actually basing it off of my husband's income, because I just recently, within 6 months, have started a cleaning business. So I make, from the numbers that I pulled up within last month, I've made about $800 a month. So I don't make much, maybe $700 a year or $7,000 a year.
Now, what does he make?
About $24,000 a year. Okay. He brings in about a $480 paycheck every week.
Gotcha. Now this truck is killing you then.
How much is the truck worth?
I Kelly Blue booked it at 20. Oh no. Oh, what did the lady tell me? I just remember her telling me don't ever go less than 15,000. I recently did a quote with CarMax, and they told me that they would give me $17 for it. So I mean, I would only owe $2,000 on it. And I know
if you sell it private sale, it'll bring enough to pay it off.
Yes, that's where I'm going with this, Kelly, because there is a quicker path to where you want to get, and it doesn't involve sacrificing.
Well, she don't have a car then.
But even if you got something in cash small, like $1,000, $2,000 car, do you have any savings, Kelly?
I've got a little bit, not much.
What's a little bit?
Which is crazy.
How much is a little bit?
$2,000. I have $2,000.
Okay, I want you to sell the truck for $19,000 and buy a $2,000 car.
Okay.
And then I want you to work your butt off without the truck payment and being on a budget. Get your cleaning business going. The great news is that you can actually make a lot of money in the cleaning business.
Yes, you can.
You need more accounts.
Yes,
or you need to raise your prices or something, because oh my goodness,
I'm surprised that it's doing what it's doing within the 6 months. Like I did.
No. You should have been doing that in month one.
We're going to change that mindset, Kelly. If you'll stay on the line, we'll have Kelly here give you a ticket to our Business Boutique Conference in October. It's October 14th through the 16th. We'll show you how to raise your prices. We'll show you how to market your business. We'll show you how to get customers and get more money that's going to help you pay off that debt. We do it every year, every fall. Thousands of women.
So you have how much
you can do this.
debt, not counting the truck? Only about $5,000. Right?
6,000. Yeah, I've got a personal loan at 1,200, and then my credit card is 5,000.
Okay, yeah. Sell the truck.
I don't have a whole
sell the
lot
truck
of debt.
for enough to pay it off. Buy a $2,000 car and cut up your credit card. Get yourself on a tight budget. Hang on, Kelly will pick up, and we're going to get you signed up for Business Boutique. In the meantime, we're also going to send you the Business Boutique book. And between now and October, I want you to double your income. And then when you come to Business Boutique, you can double it again. Because you should be making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month in a cleaning business right now. It's a freaking gold mine. It's the ultimate.
We just answered a question about this with the blinds.com from an 18-year-old of having a cleaning business.
No, that was a painting. Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry. You're painting. Sorry,
but
you're
I'm
right.
telling you this. Let me give you guys. So this is the. So when Daniel, my son, who's a senior vice president here now, and he's an old man with a baby and the whole bit now, but when he was a kid, we were doing some remodeling at our house, and I was ready to kill them because they wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
So we're driving down the street. He's 14 years old, and he goes, Dad, I think I've decided what my career is. I said, what? He goes, I'm going to be a contractor. And I'm like, why? And he said, it looks to me like there's no competition. Because all you have to do is show up when you said you were going to, meet the price you said you were going to, and do good work. And he goes, none of those are rocket science. This is a 14-year-old.
The bar is low.
I'm just saying, you got no competition in the maid service business and in the, none.
Yeah.
And in the remodeling business or handyman business. I talked to a handyman the other day making $300K a year.
You know what is so interesting, though, in the way that Kelly talked about that, even though it's just, I'm surprised.
I'm making $800.
I'm surprised. That's what I want to fix. The mindset. Oh, my God. People are giving me charity. They paid me $800. No. You're running a business.
You cleaned their toilet.
Serving the marketplace. When you start changing your mind about your business, what it does, the money you can make, what you're worth, you will start seeing that money. But as long as you feel pitiful and act pitiful, the results you will get will be pitiful. And you've seen this, Dave, a lot of what I do through Business Boutique, whether it's at the conference or book or whatever, is changing the mindset, because that's what changes the actions.
Syringe injecting courage.
I do. It's my specialty.
I saw you with it. It's a big old courage syringe. And just makes you believe. Because it's funny, once you think you're worth something, you sound stuck up, but you're not stuck up. It's confidence.
You go do it. You go work.
There's a lot of difference in confidence and arrogance.
Yes.
Arrogance is you really aren't worth it. Confidence is you really are. Other than that, it's pretty much the same attitude. This is The Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Zach is in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Zach, how are you?
Gotta be honest, been a little better. We got word today that my dad is probably not going to leave the hospital alive. So trying to figure out how to help my family through this a little bit more, because there are, like, I know what you guys usually recommend, but they're not really plugged into you guys, and I'm trying to figure out how to guide them through the coming weeks.
Oh, Zach, I'm sorry. What's wrong with him?
I think it's some kind of blood poisoning issue. I'm not 100% sure. Every time my mom gives an update, she writes like a book, so I've lost track of all the diagnosis going on.
How old are you? How old is he?
I'm 27. My dad is 60.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, here's the thing. It's when you're facing something that's this emotional, and this devastating, the more facts you have, most people, it lowers our anxiety. Gathering the facts might temporarily increase some people's anxiety in the mix, but the overall family will be better if they have good, solid facts. People are much more afraid of the unknown than they are of bad news. And that would include the financial story that's here, okay? The unknown is much more scary than even the known that I've got some struggles with, okay? That makes sense?
Yeah, that's kind of why I call it, because, like, my mom, there's some financial things that we'll need taken care of right away and stuff like that, but also, like you usually tell people, my mom needs time to just be able to sit there and cry, and she's got my 14-year-old brother living with her. Plus, I got a 23-year-old brother who's living there with his wife and 2 kids, and I know at the very least one of the things they want to do quickly is replace the house, because they live in a fallen apart old double wide that even I don't really want my mom living in anymore, because it's junk at this point.
Yeah, okay. All right. So really there's 3 major categories or 3 buckets that we can address. The first one is, do we know the list of things that they own and things that they owe?
They own the house we bought cash for like $3,000 and we remodeled it ourselves. There's a small construction loan with my dad's pickup as collateral. I don't know the exact amount. My mom won't tell me. She has a Ford Expedition. If I had to guess, I'd say at minimum $10,000 on that. They got a couple of credit cards. I don't know if they're current on payments or if they have some debt on those. Mm-hmm. And
does your mom work outside
I think that's
the home?
about it. Yeah, she does.
Okay. The second bucket is to begin to put together a budget of how she will live if he doesn't come home financially. How's she going to eat? Keep the lights on? What's going to be the game plan with the monthly budget? What's the monthly budget look like if he doesn't come home? That's the second category.
I'm going to guess roughly $3,000.
Yeah. And then the third,
maybe
you said she works and earns what?
That's specifically her income. My dad was on disability for the last little bit. I don't know if she's going to get any financial. I don't know if he's got life insurance. I don't believe he does. I think he lost it when he lost his job 6 years ago. And
okay, so let me help you with this. All 3 answers to all 3 buckets so far is I don't know. Okay? I don't know what they owe. She won't tell me. I don't know what it takes for her to live and how much she has coming in towards that. And I don't know if there's any life insurance. So I go back to my original statement. Would you agree with me, Zach, that not knowing is more scary than knowing?
Admittedly, yeah, like that's where I guess that was kind of the point I was going to try to get at with this question is those are pretty educated guesses. So my answers are somewhere around the numbers I gave, but I don't know. And my mom's pretty stubborn about telling me anything related to finances as if she's trying to do it on her. Like she seems to feel like she's needs to do it on her own to an extent. And I'm trying to figure out how to let her know you're not alone. And I know I've screwed up with my finances, but I've learned a lot, and I want to at least help a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you just say that? You're not alone. I know this is scary, and I know you're a strong, independent woman. Would you allow me to be a shoulder you can lean on for a short period of time, and let's walk through putting together a plan to where you can operate on your own, but I'll help you develop the plan. Okay, and if she responds to that with a stiff arm, there's nothing you can do then. You can't help people who won't accept the help, even your own mom. Your little brother needs to get a job and move out today. He's a burden. He's not a blessing. Not the 14-year-old, the 23-year-old with a wife living in a trailer with his mother.
To be fair, he does have a job. Why they won't move out, I will admit, I don't know.
Yeah, I just said what he needed to do. I didn't give a reason why, other than it's ridiculous. Yeah, and so this is not a blessing. It's a curse. It's a problem. But again, none of these people are required by law to take your input or mine. And so it's very difficult to insert yourself forcibly into an adult who has legal rights into their situation without their permission.
The one thing I want to throw in there, Zach, is these next few weeks and months are going to be so hard on all of you all. If you offer to help once and she says no, you can keep offering. It does not hurt to come back around 2 weeks later and be like, hey, I'm here. I'm here.
But what I don't want you to do is to try to help, A, where you're not welcome, or B, where you have incomplete information or cooperation.
Yeah.
If she says, I'm not doing that, then you go, okay.
Yeah. But if she may come around. She may come around in a couple weeks after trying to do it herself, and she wants help, but might be too proud to ask for it. And if you're there going, hey, I'm here if you need someone, I'm here, would love to walk with you in this. And then she may be more receptive. The other thing, Zach, and Dave talked about this, but your brother may not listen. We can talk to him. You want to help your mom? Talk to him and get him out. Like you are exactly what you said, Dave. You are a burden. You need to be on your own. You need to get your own place. It's going to make it a lot easier to take care of mom and help mom if you're not having to deal with all that tangled mess.
You and said wife need to be working 60 hours a week and being on your own. And then me and myself are going to help mom as well to the extent mom will let us.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be a burden on her anymore. And, and it sounds like some stuff's going to have to be sold to clean up the mess. And it's a dumpy place and they want to get out of there, sell it, and go rent something. But, go rent a little 2-bedroom apartment for her and your little brother. And that'll give your older brother or your middle brother a reason to leave.
Yeah.
Because there's not a place for him at the new place. But again, your mom, if she's going to stiff arm you and play the tough independent, I don't need help, John Wayne routine, there's nothing you can do. All you can do is what Christy said, just continually say, I'm here when you want help. I will tell you what will drive her nuts and you nuts is either you forcing yourself into a situation where you're not welcome, or she gives you only a little bit of information and you try to act on that. And so you're playing around the edges and you can't really get to the core of the problem. And that's not going to do anything but frustrate her and you. So if you're going to help, it needs to be all in. If you're going to stand on the sidelines, it needs to be all the way on the sidelines. And that's the best way you can help her and serve her in this situation. I'm so sorry you guys are facing this. What a scary time for your family. Just lots of hugs and lots of grace, because people don't always act right when they're under this much stress. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section, or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. 1 week from Christy's book launch, we are here. The new book, Take Back Your Time, The Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance, will be shipped to your homes for those of you that have bought it, and it'll be there by 1 week from today. And so that means for those of you that have not yet bought the book, and that's not many of you, because it sounds like, looking at the numbers, most of you have already bought one, but there's a few of them left, and we can get some more. So go ahead and get your purchase in, because if you buy before the actual launch date, you save, you spend the same $20, but you get a lot more for it. You get everything.
Ebook, audiobook, a ticket to our Take Back Your Time live event on Thursday night next week, and that's the 16th. And it's going to be one of those things where afterwards you're going to wish you did, because then you would have had all those bonus items. So don't wait until launch week. Go ahead and get it now. It'll ship very soon. You'll get it next week, and have the ebook, audiobook as well.
Yeah, and you're going to get, and again, a ticket to the live event. Christy will be doing. I'll be a guest on the live event, and we want you guys to come and check it out. Take Back Your Time, The Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance is the new book. 1 week from today. Again, for $20, you can get close to $100 worth of items, and it's a pretty cool purchase price, pretty cool deal. And this is the book where you're learning the step-by-step plan to be intentional with your time, where you can actually work on really what matters, and it does do away with the guilt. The getting rid of the guilt is a big deal around this, because burnout is really not from hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because you've talked about this from the entrepreneur space, but I've seen it even with anything in business or in life. We say, oh, I really want to do this, but I never have the time to, or, oh, this is really important to me, but I can never fit it on my schedule. If there's a gap between what's deeply important to you and what you actually spend your time on in business or in life, you're going to be stressed and frustrated and anxious. And Dave, you've heard me talk about this for over a decade. What I want to do is help people bridge that gap where you are doing the right things at the right time. And it turns out it's not about productivity. When you do the right things at the right time, you actually feel that sense of balance you've been looking for. But it's not because you did everything perfectly for an equal amount of time. It came from simply doing the right things. And so I lay out a 5-step plan in the book. Decide what matters. Stop doing what doesn't matter. Create a calendar that reflects what matters. Protect what matters and be present for what matters. And when you do that in any new season, you will be doing the right things at the right time, and you will be creating your version of balance, which is the only version of balance that should matter to you anyway. So it's very customizable. If I want to help you figure this out, what life balance means to you, and help you achieve it. And it turns out that's what leads to that feeling we've been wanting all along. And
it can be a positive thing or a negative thing that's driving it, but the extremes teach us the principle. I was thinking about you in this book this weekend. We have some friends our age in their 60s. Their grown daughter, your age, Rachel's age, is in ICU. She's very ill. And you know what they're working on? Nothing.
That's right.
Except they're taking care of her kids, her family, her husband. They're there at the hospital when they can be in there. They're not doing anything. And the crisis situation like that has, are they out of balance? No.
That's what's right.
They're doing what's right.
That's exactly right.
They're perfectly in balance. There's nothing else going on in their life.
Yeah.
They're not on vacation.
Yeah.
They're not nurturing their pet.
Right.
They're not doing all these, they're probably not attending church. They're probably not going to the gym.
Right.
They're doing one thing right now. And the extremes illustrate the point that when you work on what's right, you're not out of balance.
No, and it's so interesting too, because this book and all of my teaching around this topic, which is a topic that is so full of shame, it's so full of guilt of you should be doing this more, should be doing this more, and it just, we don't know what balance is, we just know we don't have it, and so we're nagged by this shadow that haunts us. But what's interesting is when you do the right things at the right time, when you think about what that is and you do it, you shake the guilt for all the things you're not doing, for all the things that are not right now. So I'm not going to feel bad for not working out, not working, not having a clean house, because I'm taking care of my child in the hospital. When you bring back to front and center and full focus of what is right now, it gives you permission to focus on it, but it also helps you shake the guilt of all the things that are not right now. And that's powerful in our very distracted, overcommitted culture. That's a huge, that's freeing. That's a message of freedom for people that feel overcommitted.
Yeah, I think you and I discovered last hour that when people attempt balance with the wrong approach, they basically join the circus.
Yeah, I love how you said that, because all the analogies.
Yeah, they're plate spinning, they're juggling
balls,
and they're tightrope walking.
Yeah.
And these are all the metaphors we use for balancing. I plate spin, I juggle, flaming swords, while walking a tightrope. So this book is about getting out of the circus. You've joined the circus. You need to quit the circus.
It's like juggle faster. No, just get out of the tent. You don't want your life to be a circus. These analogies are terrible. It's a sign that we're asking the wrong question. So I love that analogy. It's so true.
Not my monkey, not my circus.
That's right.
This is the answer to getting back in balance.
Right. That's right.
I don't have to deal with that over there. That is not my monkey, not my circus. You people go deal with your stuff. I'll be over here dealing with mine. It's a full-time job. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's another thing that gets you out of balance, is when you start managing other people's lives. We need to get Henry Cloud in here and talk about boundaries.
Boundaries. Well, step 4 in the path, it's 5 steps. Step 4 is protect what matters. And I quote him, obviously he is the expert on boundaries, but saying no, and you and I have talked about this a lot, and setting boundaries, what's interesting is it helps you protect those things on your calendar that matter to you. It helps you protect them from outside people that might want to chip away and tell you what you should be doing. Also helps you protect it from yourself. And getting distracted by, I want to do this, and squirrel, and this person, and no. Sometimes just having those boundaries help you protect the outsiders and even you from yourself, to protect that balance that you work so hard to create.
Yeah, and I'll help you with this. Saying no is a muscle that can be built.
Yes.
And my no muscle is really strong.
You don't flinch.
I don't even flinch. But you know what? It comes from not having one.
Yeah.
It comes from, having my life overrun by other people's agendas.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to be mad at me because I won't go to this event and speak on this weekend, which, by the way, happens to be the weekend that my high school daughter is going on her prom.
Right.
Well, I just chose her over you. Deal with it.
Yeah.
And but they get mad and write hate mail letters, and Dave's gotten too big for his britches. And I remember when Dave Ramsey used to be nice. No, you don't, because it never happened. Okay, so shut up, whiner. But oh my gosh, that's the fun. I love that hate mail. It's like, Dave has changed so much. No, he really hasn't.
You can even be nice when you say it, and it does get easier. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. But you got to practice to get good at it.
Yeah, and I should practice on the nice part.
You should.
But
I'll help you with
the
that.
not nice part. The no, I'm really good at it. It's just like, no. And it keeps a lot of margin in your life. You got wiggle room to do all kinds of stuff. When you just go, I can't do that. I'm sorry. No, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. This is the Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show. Open phones as we talk about your life and your money. Dalton is in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Dalton. How are you?
Good, Dave. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve, man. What's up in your world?
Well, I was just calling. I have a couple questions. I've been listening to a few of your podcasts, and I just figured, why not call in? So,
cool.
I am 22 years old, and I've been working since I was 19. I went to school for welding, and I've been traveling the tri-state area where I live for the past almost 3 years. Well, since I was 19, so 2-3 years. And I've saved up almost $90,000.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
What kind of money are you making a year as a welder?
Close to, if I work outages, and sometimes it's iffy. Like you work a few months here, a few months there. But on average, I've averaged from $80,000 to $100,000 a year.
Good for you. Well done. The trades pay well. You're working a lot of hours, and it's hard work, but you're making good money, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you're on, you're working. That's tough work. But and so you're working power stuff, huh?
Yeah, nuclear mostly. I've worked in live nuclear plants and building nuclear plants.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, you're really building a resume there. That's pretty impressive. Good. And you got $85,000. And are you living at home, or are you living in a camper? I mean, what are you doing?
I recently just bought a camper about a month ago, and before that, I was living with a high school friend that I went to welding school with in his camper, and then before that, I had rented an apartment, which was one of my worst mistakes. But you live and you learn.
Yeah, because you're never there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And paid a lot more. I could have paid for a camper for what I paid in rent in that apartment.
Yeah. So you're going to SUV. I mean, you're going to Winnebago it around or whatever while you whatever the brand is while you run this circuit for a while at this stage of your life. How long do you think you're going to live that life?
Well, that's what I was asking. I was recently gave some advice because I was talking to a person I knew that has owned a business, and they told me, well, if you don't want to travel all the time, why don't you buy like a service truck and open your own welding business? And so I was just going to ask you what you thought about that idea, or how much money you think you would have saved up to start your own business as a welding business.
Enough to buy the supplies and the truck.
Okay.
You can outfit this truck for $50,000, right?
Yes, or less. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want a fancy truck. It's going to be hauling a bunch of junk around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's welding equipment. It's your trade, but it's not. Right. This is not a. You don't need a something from a Chevy commercial. I mean, this is a work truck, right?
Exactly.
And so I love that idea. So what I would tell you if you're my 22-year-old son is that running a business is different than running an arc welder.
Okay.
So you have the skills to be a welder. You do not have the skills yet to run a business.
Okay.
And much like you had to learn how to weld, you're going to learn how to run a business. And so you've got to start thinking about what it takes to operate a business, not just perform the task.
Okay.
So, I mean, buying a truck and getting the welding gear, yeah. And can you do the job once you've got the job? Yeah. But you have to price it, you have to collect it, you have to pay your taxes, you have to get new customers, you have to take care of the existing customers, and now you're running a business.
Yes.
And so, and it is at least as difficult to run a business with a service truck like that as it is to weld.
The other thing, Dalton, is, and don't let that discourage you, because the day-to-day will still be the welding work. Your day-to-day will still be doing the work you know how to do and you love how to do, but there will be a learning curve where you figure out, how are you going to price this? How are you going to manage the money? How are you going to interact with customers, with clients, and even points of contact, like the really tactical stuff that you probably don't deal with day-to-day and you haven't even thought about in terms of your business. Some of this is as simple as talking to someone who's running a business, as doing a Google search, as just putting some of your notes and ideas on paper. Start to just let this idea simmer in your mind and capture your thoughts in a notebook or something really basic. This does not have to be sophisticated, and it doesn't have to overwhelm you. once you get through this learning curve of learning some of the basic business setup and the basic business operations, you will spend the vast majority of your time, 80 to 90% of your time, doing the welding work, especially out of the gate, because that's in the initial stages that you just own your job. That's what you're doing. But you do need to just think about some of these things and learn some of these things. And if you start doing that, you could make even more money doing this.
I want you to find a 35-year-old guy that's running a truck and doing welding and making a good living. And I want you to go take a day or two, or next time you've got some downtime, I want you to go spend 3 days with him. Take your camper.
Okay.
Take your camper, go hang out in that city where he could be 2 cities over, 5 cities over. I don't care. Maybe he's over at Dallas.
You're mobile.
You run over there from Atlanta, spend 2 or 3 days with him, and I want you to go to school, not on welding, on running a business.
Okay, on business.
How do you run a business? What did you not know? What do I need to know? How do you do your pricing? Where do your customers come from? And I want you to take like some yellow pads or an iPad or something. I want you to fill up files and files and files and files of the answers of an actual practitioner in that world. And so, when you first learned to weld, someone showed you by welding. You watched them weld, right?
Yes, you're exactly right.
Your very first class. And then you tried it. And then they helped you by letting you then you watched it again. And then you tried it again until finally that thing would quit sticking and it would actually create an arc, right?
Exactly.
And well, maybe you're doing acetylene. I don't know, but anyway, the metaphor still stands. So you go study someone else, and then you do it, and then you study someone else, and then you do it, and then you study someone else, and your first step is to get the business up and running, and then your next step is to grow the business to where it's not to where you own more than just your job. Your first goal in business is at least own your own job. And if you don't go to work, you don't get paid, that's owning your own job, right? But if you got 5 people working for you welding and 6 trucks out there, now you own a business that if you don't work one day, they all still work. And that's growing it to the next level. But I don't want to go too fast here. You're 22, you got plenty of time. Yes, I would buy a service truck, and yes, I would go into business if you have that desire, but go study business from a couple people. I'm going to give you a copy of our #1 best-selling book, Entree Leadership, which is it's our playbook on how we started this business and how we ran it and run it. And it'll give you some good guidelines on how to get there.
Dalton, I want to give you a couple questions, too, to ask these people that you're going to study and shadow and learn from. One, ask them, what did you learn the hard way? Mm-hmm. Another way to ask it is, what did you wish you knew when you got started? And another thing to ask them are, what are the biggest trip ups I should look out for? Like customers or problems or things that just, might be a potential landmine that you don't even know. How can you learn about that before you get into it? Ask some of those questions to get some of those learnings without you having to learn the hard way yourself. And they'll tell you, they'll show you, and you can avoid that going out, out of the gate.
I love that. What a great young guy.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
We've talked to a couple of 22-year-olds in the last couple of hours that are doing pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
So there's hope, America. There's hope. The next generation coming on. There's some good ones in the bunch. There's a bunch of good ones in the bunch. And no bunch has all good ones. No bunch has all bad ones. But this bunch has got some really good ones. That's pretty cool. And the trades, with this epic student loan debacle that we have in higher education, the trades are coming back on with a gale force winds. Everybody's moving into the trades. I mean, when you can, with a high school education at 22, for the last 4 years, while his friends were in college making nothing, he's made $100,000 a year.
He's doing okay.
He's $400,000 ahead before they got started. Very interesting. Very interesting. This is The Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Zane and Megan are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good.
We're doing good.
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, fun. Welcome to Nashville. And all the way here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
We paid off $79,000.
All right.
Awesome.
How long did this take?
2 years and 3 months.
Yep.
All right. And your range of income during that time?
We started at $64,000 and ended up just over $92,000.
Awesome.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a hairstylist and an educator at the color company we go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got a new job last week. I'm going to be an energy sales specialist.
All right. Very cool. Good for you guys. What kind of debt was the $79,000?
A little bit of everything. Credit card debt, car loans, personal loans, student loans, our house.
Our house, yep.
You paid off your house?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
Goodness, I'm looking at weird people.
Wow.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Wow.
You say it so casually. Oh, in the house. No big deal.
In the
Yeah.
house.
Way to go, y'all.
Wow. How long you guys been married?
About 4.5 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. So about 2 years into the marriage, this journey starts. What made you decide to get on this journey?
I was driving home my water truck, and I was flipping through the radio and heard about you.
Oh, my gosh. Just like that. The random scan of the radio, one of my best promotional tricks.
So random.
Yeah.
I will have to say, though, when we first got married, for the first about year and a half of our relationship, we kept everything separate, and he would try to get me to pay off my debt, and he was already doing it, and I just thought it was really dumb. I didn't think we could go through life without buying a car without a loan, buying a house without a loan, really doing anything without putting ourselves in debt first. So it took him a really long time of keep trying to be like, oh, we should do this. And I was like, no, I'm not about that. I'd rather spend my money. I don't want to be told what to do. And then it came to a point where I was out shopping one day, and I went to go buy supplies for work, and my debit card got denied. And so then I had to use my credit card, which also worried me because I knew at the time it was almost maxed out as well. And I was like, maybe Zane knows what he's talking about. And so I came home and I was like, reluctantly too, it's a really hard thing for me to ever admit that I'm
big dose of crow right here. Yeah,
I loved it.
Really hard to ever admit that I'm maybe not doing things right. So I was like, I started listening to the podcast on my own before I would even honestly admit that I was even thinking about it, because I'm super stubborn and I was just not about it. Wasn't about it to be right. And so finally I was
She's a sneaky podcast listener.
Maybe we should start looking into it. And I just thought it was like I just said yes to marry him all over again.
Oh, wow. So you did the little Snoopy dance and everything, huh? Wow.
Yeah, I was pretty happy about that.
I'm thinking, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, you get a double bonus. One, you get to be right.
The best part. That doesn't happen very often.
And two, she's going to do that money thing. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah.
This is a good day.
Yeah, I'm very much the free spirit in this relationship.
You are fun.
And
you are fun.
Yeah. So it was really hard. And it was something I was like, okay, but to do this, I need at least like a little bit of leeway. So I had at least in my budget a little bit of spending money for myself because I was like, even if it's just like a top here or like a pair of shoes there, but I've got to do something to keep my sanity. Otherwise, it's just not going to ideally work out for me. He could never spend a dime in his life and be okay.
I love this story, and I love your honesty, Megan. I have a theory. Dave, you tell me if I'm wrong here. I have a theory that we often see, obviously in marriages, there's a nerd and a free spirit, but we often see that one spouse is reluctant to get on board. And my theory is the reluctant spouse is always the free spirit. You never see the nerd going, I don't know about this budget. I don't know
about this saving money
it's
thing.
Always the spender. It's me. It's you. It's all the free spirits going, no, don't box me in. Don't tell me what to do. Don't give me rules. I love that you came around though. Well done.
Yeah, like I said, it took him a long time. It took him a while, but he stayed persistent, and it was never like pushy about it. It was just like, well, I'm already doing it, and then he had also paid off a vehicle by himself doing it, and I was kind of like, oh, like.
And I got money.
That's really cool. And so yeah, I was really nervous too about putting our bank accounts together just because I did spend so much more money, and I still had the mindset of
scary for you or her?
Me.
Yeah, because I'm like, I spend so much more money, but then when you do come to the realization of we're in a marriage, we're not roommates, it does make a lot difference. And honestly, when we did put our bank accounts together, it made me not want to spend as much money too. It made me be a lot more conscious about my purchases.
Let's talk about that, Megan, because there are people listening right now. There are couples listening that they haven't put their money together yet. What would you say to them?
I just think it's crazy. I don't know. I just found that once we put our bank accounts together that we got a lot closer with each other too. And it opens up a lot more honesty. And I've never felt like I've had to hide my purchases, but even more so, I never felt guilty about buying something because it's all laid out right there in front of you, and I just don't understand why you wouldn't do it.
So did you guys feel like you were more of a team when you put those together?
Yes.
100%.
That's really cool.
And there for a while we had what we thought worked for us. I paid this bill, you paid that bill. I'll buy groceries at this store, you buy groceries at that store. And then it did just get to a point of, why aren't we're married. Why do we feel the need to keep our stuff separate when a marriage means unity?
Yeah, that's good.
Usually the continued separation, once you have that question pop into your head, is shame or control. And Zane's not a control freak.
No.
And so that helped, you know. And once you decided that it was you shaming you, not Zane,
absolutely,
then you can not be ashamed and just go, it's my money. I can do what I want to do with it.
And I actually
as Rachel says, it's a spending plan.
Yes. Whenever I had all the credit cards, and I just remember like right before we were getting ready to go to the bank to combine our accounts, I was like, I kind of feel like I should pay these off. I don't know if I want them to know how much credit card debt I've racked up. And we were sitting down to dinner, and I'm just sitting there, and I was like, I got to get this off my chest. I just have to tell you this, but I believe at the time it was like $6,400 in credit card debt. And I was like, I've got to tell you this. I was going to try. I don't know where I thought I was going to pay this off
Zane
by myself.
Says, is that all?
And he was like, I thought you were going to tell me so much more than that.
I told you.
He was like, because I was like, I've got to tell you this. Like, I'm so nervous.
I was like, this is going to be bad.
It's going to be 40 grand.
And he was like, well, that's no big deal. We've got it.
That's awesome. I love you two.
You guys are great. So how old are you two?
I'm 28.
I'm almost 27.
All right. And you have a paid-for house that's worth how much?
Give or take 75, 80.
Wow. And you're so weird. You're awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are a power couple. You're so fun. This is so great. You've done such a great job in everything, in your relationships, in your self-awareness, in the whole process that you use. What happened here to you personally and to you as a couple is even more important than what happened with the money. So you guys are this very, very cool story. I love it. It's very, very fun. $79,000 paid off, house and everything. You don't have a payment in the world, making almost $100,000 and not even 30 years old. How's that feel?
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really awesome too, just to know that we're really going to set ourselves up in the future, and someday when we have kids, it'll be really nice to not really have any worries about, are we going to be able to afford to do this and that with them. It'll be very nice to be able to set up their future as well and teach them about money.
That's awesome.
Well done, you guys.
Yeah.
We got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you, because that is the next chapter in your story. move on to set that legacy up like you're talking about, and be baby steps millionaires. You'll be there before you know it. Absolutely incredible. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to somebody who's out there doing it wrong, because the stuff we teach is too dumb. So I love it. That's just awesome. So fun. So fun. Well done. Zane and Megan, Springfield, Illinois. Oh, man, $79,000 paid off, house and everything in 2 years and 3 months, making $64,000 to $92,000. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free.
I love it. That is fun.
That's awesome.
They are great. Oh, man, what a future. And really good insights.
Yeah,
in
I love that.
Great storytelling. Well done. This is The Ramsey Show. Thanks for joining us, America. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life, your money. Dawn is with us in Williamsport. Whoops, I hit the wrong button, of course. Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Well, hello, you two. I'm better than I deserve, and I hope you're the same.
We are.
Awesome. Love it.
How can we help?
Wonderful. Well, my husband and I, we're also weirdos. We're debt-free.
Awesome.
We are putting in an offer on a house. We are paying in cash. And seems like everyone is trying to sell us on these conventional renovation loans. Now, we're new to being weird, but I'm not keen on the word loan. Can you tell me a little bit about these and what's the deal there?
Well, it's just simply buying a house that's messed up and you're borrowing the money for the house and the rehab.
Gotcha.
That's all it is. I mean, it's just a conventional rehab loan. That's all it is. And so you're able to borrow more than the purchase price, which on a typical mortgage, it's called a purchase money mortgage. On a typical mortgage, you can only buy up to the purchase price. But in this case, they'll loan you the renovations as well, up to a certain point above the actual price. But you have the cash to do all of this.
Yes.
Okay.
You have the cash for the renovation as well, not just the purchase price?
Yes, we do. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Well, there's not any question that's what you should do then. I don't care what everyone says. Everyone is stupid, broke, and divorced. I mean, my God, why do we want all these losers? I mean, people are just messed up and they all have an opinion, So, no, I'm not taking broke people's advice on everyone gets a loan. No, they don't. Did you know 25% of Americans own a paid-for house? So it's really not as weird as we make it out to be. Now, when somebody does it at under 30 years old, like our last debt-free scream, that's pretty cool. Well, but it's not that weird. And by the way, only about 60 or 55% of Americans own a home. The other 45% rent or own a modular home or something like that, a mobile home, something like that. But a traditional home is 55 to 60%, and 25% is paid for. So almost half the people that own a home paid for it in America. But nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
So, Dawn, I don't know who you're listening to, but you probably need to not listen to them on that subject.
Typically, the people
I already knew the answer.
Typically, the people trying to tell you you have to get this, that, or the other are the people that have some skin in the game or some agenda or some commission or something. It may not be that in this case, but you've got the cash. You just go with your gut. You knew exactly what you needed to do, and you're on point. You're on target with that.
Dawn has a special loan, It's called I Paid For It, No Loan. Yeah, that's a new program that's out there, and it's sweeping the nation. Rachel's with us in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you, Dave, for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Yeah, so I am a 28-year-old, just graduated with my bachelor's degree in leadership.
You're 20 what year old? Say that again.
28.
28 years old. Okay.
Yes, and I graduated with my bachelor's in leadership studies. Make about $30,000, and I'm $120,000 in debt. I've tried to make a budget, but it's not working. So, seeking your advice.
What do you mean it's not working?
Like, my income is some weeks I get overtime, and sometimes I don't. So my income is it's not set. So setting the budget is really difficult.
Okay, well, there's a way to budget for irregular income, but it sounds like to me it's more of a problem than just that. Are you not able to make your bills on your income?
Barely.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I work for, I'm in retail. Work at AutoZone.
Okay. And you got a degree for $120,000 in leadership studies.
Well, that and car loan and medical debt.
Okay.
No credit card.
How much of the 120 is student loans?
100 of it.
Okay. All right. So what is the game plan to put that education to work to make more than $30K at AutoZone?
I am trying to, put my resume out and get into the field. Mm-hmm. It's just there's been no, my resume hasn't got any hits on it for interviews.
Okay.
What are you applying for?
Any job that comes up.
Okay. Rachel, I hear in your voice, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I hear in your voice that it sounds like you are taking a more passive approach to this job search than I want you to. You have to get your income up significantly if you're going to get out of $120,000 in debt. So that could be working 3 retail jobs, or you could just land a really good job and then maybe some extra side gigs that gets your income up. But it's going to take knocking the door down. It's going to take, I'm going to email you my resume. I'm going to apply online. I may hand deliver a resume on beautiful resume paper as well and bring you some coffee while I'm at it. Like, you are going to find the people that you want to work with using the skills that you have, the connections you want to make, the companies that you want to work for. I don't know what it looks like, but you have got to get scrappy and determined to get your foot in the door. A job is not going to appear on your lap.
So someone lied to you. They told you that if you went and got a degree in leadership studies, that someone would hire you to be a leader. And
I know I have to work, start at the bottom.
Yeah, and that was a lie. And then the second thing, so what you're going to need to do is narrow your focus in on what you want to be doing when you're 38. What does a decade from now, Rachel, look like? And then what are the steps for me to get there? The degree in leadership studies is not a bad degree. It just doesn't come with a guarantee of prosperity or a guarantee that it's going to automatically open up the resume door in a digital world. So let me give you a couple things. One is I'm going to give you Ken Coleman's book, The Proximity Principle. And Ken does a show here at the Ramsey Networks on finding a job and finding a career and getting plugged into your career. Also, I want you to go to kencoleman.com and I want you to download all of his resume templates and all of his free tools. He's got a ton of stuff there that's going to help you get your foot in the door somewhere doing one specific type of thing. If you just say, I'll work anywhere that pays more money, no one will hire you. I don't want to hire you if that's your goal.
Right.
If I'm an employer, I'll hire 300 people here this year, and I won't hire you to do anything that makes more money than AutoZone. I don't have a job description that's that. I have a job description that says I need this certain thing done. Can you do this certain thing? And are you passionate about this certain thing? Oh, by the way, 300 people will get hired. 24,000 applications will come in digitally. So guess what? You got no chance just filling out applications. Zero chance. You could be the daughter of the President of the United States, and you got zero chance getting 500, 300 out of 24,000. You have to do something else that sets yourself apart in this world. You can't just monster.com your way into this. It doesn't work. And so you got to get somebody inside the building that is at the place that you want to work, doing the thing that you want to do, that gets your foot in the door. I had a young lady apply here for a marketing position 2 weeks ago, and within 48 hours, I had 4 of my friends email me and say, hey, so-and-so's daughter has applied there. Please get her name out of the stack. Now, I didn't hire her because of that, but it got her an interview, and it got her past the stack. And I don't even know if we hired her.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I don't tell my guys they have to hire somebody that's a daughter of my friend or whatever. But I do want them to at least give her a look as a courtesy. And if they're friends of Christie's, they're going to get a look out of courtesy. If they're friends of Kelly's, they're going to get a look out of courtesy. And that doesn't mean we're going to hire them, but it gets you out of the 24,000 to 300 stack.
You know, that's how I got here. I applied for a position 12 years ago in our event team and got an auto response. That position had been filled. Started reaching out to anybody that I knew that worked here.
Or anybody that you knew that knew somebody.
That's right.
That worked
And started
here.
having conversation after conversation that led to a job posting that led to what I'm doing. You've got to get more determined. You got to get more determined, Rachel, if you're going to get a job.
Yeah.
You've got
It's
to.
not going to. That's what I mean by somebody lied to you. You made you think this was going to be easy. It's not. It's going to be really hard. It's just going to be worth it. Hang on, Kelly will pick up. We'll send you a copy of Ken Coleman's book, and we'll help you with this. Get on his website. Start listening to the Ken Coleman podcast. I think magically you will get a job if you'll do exactly the stuff he tells you to do. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. We just launched a brand new listener survey. We want to know what you think about the show. You'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at RamseySolutions.com/survey or text survey to 33789. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Those of you who are enjoying the last bits of fall freedom here, we want you to come to Nashville and enjoy our ongoing business boutique event. It will be here very, very soon, and I'm scrambling here looking for the date as I said this.
October 14th through the 16th.
October 14th through the 16th. There we go. And Christy Wright, along with me, and who all speaking?
So we've got Jasmine Starr, who is an expert on social media. She's spoken before. Always a huge hit. Nona Jones, Bianca Olthoff, Manit Chauhan, and Dr. John Deloney, in addition to you and I. And what I think people need to know if you're thinking about attending this event, which, by the way, you could come to Nashville, come live stream, however you want to do it. But we cover the topics that you need help with the most. That's how we built this event. Is based on your surveys, based on your feedback. These are the things I need help with: marketing, sales, money management, time management, pushing past your fear. So those are the topics that we hire and book speakers based on. So it's not just the name, it's also the topic that you need help with. So you walk out of there with the tactical action items of what you need to do to grow your business. But also, man, we fire you up. We want to get you, like you said, what did you say a couple hours ago? A syringe of courage. I help you believe that you can do it, because then that changes your actions when you go home. And so the combination is really powerful.
Yeah. Well, people need a syringe full of courage right now. There's a lot of fear out there, and a lot of different reasons. And this event is going to be absolutely incredible. Business boutique, equipping women to make money doing what they love. It comes from the #1 best-selling book, Business Boutique, but it also comes from years of doing this event. It's always a sellout. It's always a big party. Everyone, 98% of the attendees are ladies, and it is absolutely a blast to speak to and to be a part of, and you will leave not only with information, but you'll leave with the inspiration to go home and start that business and get the things going. And like I tell you, coming out of 2020, even seasoned business people we have a kind of fatigue.
Yeah.
A little bit of a cloud over the future, over our hope, over our heads. And I fight through it. Everybody fights through it. But it's a real thing. And I would hate to think that your idea, because it was still just coming through the ground, just a tender little beginner idea, gets squashed by COVID.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's something really powerful. Certainly, if you want to join us on live stream, that's fine. But there's something powerful about being in that room, being around 1,000, 2,000 other business women, other women chasing their dreams, that the momentum and the energy is so powerful, you literally take it home with you. And so I can't encourage you enough to come in the room. And by the way, you mentioned, Dave, it's 98% women, which it is. But if you're a man listening right now and you have a wife, a mom, a daughter that has a side business, buy this for her, because there is such a pattern.
The tickets are only, what, $89 or something?
I think it's like $129.
$129? They're nothing.
But it's interesting because so many women end up in the room because their husband or their dad or their son bought them a ticket. Sometimes women, especially when they're starting out in business.
Yeah, I was looking at a ladies' event the other day. It was $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So text Boutique to 33789 to get tickets. It's October 14th through the 16th here in Nashville. It'll be here in 20 minutes. That's going to happen really fast. That's about a month away is all.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can still get tickets. You can still get hotel rooms. You can still enjoy Nashville. It's a 3-day event, and it is completely full. You will leave both excited and exhausted from the event. And, plan an extra day or two on one side of this and enjoy Nashville while you're here. Yeah. It's one of the premier cities in America right now. So text Boutique to 33789, October 14 through the 16. JD is with us in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hi, JD. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you guys?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I'm one of the few that you have talked about that has inherited millions, which turned me into a millionaire. But I own a piece of property that I would like to sell, either to the partnership that already exists and let them own it, or have the whole thing liquidated and put my portion into mutual funds, because I don't see the return that I would like to see off of the piece of property, but I don't know that I can make it work. And I'm just looking for guidance.
Okay. So the partners that are in this are your other relatives that inherited it with you?
Correct.
Okay. And how many of them are there?
There are 2 others, but we are not equal owners. My uncle and I are larger share owners than my other aunt that is in it.
And what percentage do you own?
41%.
Okay. And how is this structured? Is it an LLC, or do each of you just individually own a portion?
No, it is an LLC.
Okay. Does the LLC documents allow for sale of the shares?
As long as all 3 parties agree.
Okay. All right. So how is the relationship with your uncle and your aunt?
The relationship is good. I don't know if the interest to buy me out will be there. I have been told that to sell this piece of property, it would have to bring a certain dollar amount, and I don't know that we're there to sell it outright for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think I'd start the conversation with them and just say, I want out. Mm-hmm. I want out. It's no disrespect to you all or to the family or to the person who left it to me. There's no disrespect to the memory of what's going on. It's an investment decision for me, and I want out. I want to sell my 41%. Now, how are we going to do this? Do you guys want to put the whole thing on the market, or can I discount it and let you two buy me out, or one of you buy me out. And I would discount it reasonably. It's found money. You didn't, quote unquote, earn it. I don't want you to cut it in half, but if you, what is your 41% approximately worth?
About $590,000.
Okay. And so if you got $490 for it, I wouldn't be mad.
Okay.
I just made that up. But, I mean, my point is a substantial discount, but not a huge, huge, huge thing. And so if you guys will get me out, I'll give you a deal. Because I need to move on. This is the right thing to do. And I don't think you guys want to sell it based on the price you think you can get, that you want to demand for it. That's a signal you don't really want to sell it. Because it's not going to bring that, and I want out. And so let's start a conversation of how we can get me out. Do we sell it? Or do I discount it to you guys and let you guys buy me out? How can we work this out? Let's start to talk about it. And I think you'll see what's going on. This is The Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. If you're like most people, you've got more than enough on your mind right now. Getting kids where they need to be, keeping up with the bills, staying on top of work and family. It's exhausting and stressful. Money does not have to be one more thing you worry about. When you have the right plan, you can be in control with your money. And consequently, it affects being in control with your life. We teach you that plan in a thing called Financial Peace University. We've taught almost 10 million people that plan in FPU, Financial Peace University. The class shows you step by step how to pay off debt, save money, and become wealthy in the future. And outrageously generous. You can stream all 9 lessons on your own, or you can join a class with other people, so you're not figuring it out alone. And right now, the only way to experience FPU is with a Ramsey Plus membership. The plan works every time if you work it. Ask the millions who've done it. They don't worry about money anymore. And you can do it too. You can start a free trial at Ramsey Plus and see what I'm talking about. Text TRIAL to 33789. That's TRIAL to 33789. Chris is with us in San Antonio. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Great, man. What's up?
Hey, listen, we started working the baby steps. Which I'm really grateful. We tested positive, had to go in the bubble for a couple of weeks, and there kind of went our emergency fund, which hey, that's what it was for. But I was kind of offered, and I want to ask you about this. We were, honestly, and this is part of my fault, we were right up to like that 30-day mark with our mortgage as far as being late. And before we hit it, which I was wanting to get caught up here pretty quick, but COVID kind of caught first. So anyways, they offered me like a forbearance plan, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on a forbearance plan. I was applying for it for maybe just like a month, well, actually for like 2 months, just to kind of get past that little hump. And they're like, oh, man, you can take up to a whole year. And I just want to ask your thoughts on that, because everything they were giving me, they're like, there's no ramifications down the road that, I'm calling you to see what's going on.
Well, if you don't pay your payments in a year with their permission, you're aware you have to start paying those payments and catching all of that year up later. There are ramifications.
Okay.
They don't waive the payments for a year.
Okay.
They just delay them. So it's like building a pipe bomb in your basement and you don't know what you're doing. It's eventually going to go off and blow you up, but we're not going to know what happened because the whole house is going to cave in on you. I mean, that's what's going to happen. No. Your gut instinct was this is too good to be true, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you're dealing with somebody on the other end who it has no ramifications for them at all. But, yeah, it definitely has ramifications because you have to catch up all those payments someday, somehow, somewhere. And so the last thing we want to do is
because in my head, of course, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, let's put this off a couple more months, and then I could pay off something else. But I was like, there's something wrong here.
You're right. You smelled a rat, and you were right. You got rat problems. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, no. And now let's catch up, though, and let's give you a solution that's real. Because usually the best financial solutions that are the best ones hurt in the short term to give you the best outcome in the long term, not the other way around. If they feel good in the short term, they almost always give you a bad outcome in the long term. And so, it feels good to have to skip all those payments right now, but the bad outcome is you got to make them all up later, and it's a problem. It's a ticking time bomb. So then, on the other hand, you're how many payments behind today? You owe August and September?
So I owe like 1 month, and I may be about halfway, the 2 weeks.
No, do you owe August 1st payment?
We owe, yes, sir.
Do you owe July's?
No.
Okay, so August and now September, because September 1st is passed.
Right.
Okay, so how much is your house payment?
It is right about $2,000.
Okay, and are you guys back to work, both of you now?
Yeah, I'm the only one working, but I mean, I could get cut up pretty quick. Honestly.
What do you make?
I make right about 100, and it's a little hard to gauge because everything just kind of started, but I'm going to say roughly 160.
Okay. Have you got a student loan debt?
No.
Okay.
I have one car payment, which we're about $2,000 away from paying off. That's our second one we're going to be able to pay off.
What do you do, Chris?
Elevator mechanic, and I'm on the service side of the industry now, which
I gotcha. I see why you were out. Okay.
Offer a lot of overtime.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So can you get a lot of OT now?
Oh yeah.
So you can jack it up, and then the next 30 days make how much?
You just sent my calculator down the river there.
That's okay. All right. I mean, if in 30 days, in 1 month, if you worked all the OT they would give you, what do you think you would make?
No, I actually went from making before OT was about 90, and then now I'm calculating. What I can, it's about because I've been scooping up pretty much everything that I could tolerate.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to work like you're losing your house.
Okay.
For the next 30 days. I want you to scoop up everybody's overtime, yours and 6 other people's. I don't want you to sleep.
Yeah, they have no problem handing it over.
Yeah, I want you to work like an absolute crazy freaking wild man, because $4,000 catches your house up, $6,000 pays off your car and catches your house up, and then you can rest.
Okay.
Because if your house was current and your car was paid off, wouldn't you be a little bit more relaxed than you are today?
Yeah.
That's worth 30 days of no sleep.
That is true.
Okay, let's pour it on for 30 days, like your freaking life depends on.
Can I throw one more little thing in the mix? Because you dug a little deeper than I was wanting you to, and I feel like I need to ask you this.
Okay.
I also owe the IRS.
Okay.
And I owe them. I'm guessing. I don't even know, because during COVID, it was like impossible to try and get a hold of anybody.
Yeah.
I tried.
What do you think it is?
They were just out to lunch.
What do you think it is?
I don't even know. I'm guessing maybe 10,000, maybe.
Okay. After we get the car paid off and the house caught up, here's your first rule. We take care, before you do anything else, you take care of what we call the 4 walls: food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities. Then we worry about other bills, and the IRS would be at the top of the other bills. But they do not come before your family eating or having the lights on or whatever, right? Okay, we're going to take care of your family first, and then we're going to pay the IRS.
Right.
Now, then let's go get some OT and knock those puppies out. You do not want those people in your life.
No, I don't.
They don't mean to be mean people. Some of them mean to be mean people. But they're just, this is not, they have unlimited power, ridiculous interest rates and penalties, and you want that puppy gone as fast as possible. So go ahead and click on RamseySolutions.com and go to our website and click on the endorsed local provider for taxes in your area, and you can get a tax person to help you navigate first putting the IRS on payments, and then secondly, I want them paid off by end of January. So no IRS, no car debt, and the house is current, and you're on a budget, all by the end of January. But you're going to be tired, but you'll be okay. This is The Ramsey Show. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Brittany is with us. Hi, Brittany. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. Where do you live?
Akron, Ohio.
Wow. Welcome to Nashville. And here to do a debt-free scream, how much have you paid off?
I paid off $95,000 in 15 months.
Wow. Good for you. And what kind of, how long did that, I'm sorry, one more time I'll ask. What was the range of your income during that time?
$66,000 to $110,000.
All right. Good for you. $95,000 in 15 months. What kind of debt was the 95?
So the biggest chunk was student loans. I had over $72,000. I had about $10,000 in credit cards, $10,000 in a car note. I was making payments on my iPhone. I was making payments on her saxophone. A little bit of everything.
Yeah. Payments on the payments on the payments.
Yeah.
Kind of the great American nightmare. Yeah. So what in the world happened that started you on this intense journey 15 months ago?
So it started, to be honest, in like November of 2019. I got a letter saying that my student loans were about to go back into payment, and my monthly payment was going to be more than my rent, almost $900 a month. And I was intimidated by my $500 car note, so there was no way I was going to be able to afford that. So I was very frightened. That Christmas, my mom bought me and my siblings the Total Money Makeover and your workbook, and it was probably January or February that I cracked it open and read it at work, and went through the workbook, and it was like it clicked. It all made sense. I started listening to the podcast all the time. There was no radio in the car. The kids got very frustrated with that. It was the podcast all the time. And the Debt-Free Screams, there was one show in particular that you did where you talked about, because I couldn't imagine how I was going to tackle this, making $66,000. It was like, there's no way. And there was one show where you talked about you got to get a bigger shovel. I was like, all right, game on. I got a part-time job. I started picking up all the overtime I could get. I lived at work. I was only home to sleep and eat and shower. I went full. We drank the Kool-Aid. That's the saying.
So you went for 15 months. You just went crazy.
Yeah. my mom would kind of look at me occasionally and be like, why don't you take a break? Because there'd be times where I would work.
You took that book a little serious.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a day off for like 2-3 weeks at a time. I was working one or both jobs in one day. And
what is your main job?
I'm a nurse.
Okay. And what was your best side hustle? Did you just do more overtime?
So my part-time job, I did home care. I work.
Yeah.
My full-time job is inpatient hospital, and then I pulled up home care.
Wow.
So.
Wow. And that's a good side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Makes good money, but it's also you're just working all the time.
All the time.
It's what we were just talking about at these short-term sacrifices, short-term pain for long-term results. And 95 in that income in 15 months is crazy town. What are some of the things you cut out, some sacrifices you made to get it done, to get it finished so quickly?
So I'm definitely more of a free spirit.
Okay.
I made great money, and I just never knew where it went. We'd go to the grocery store. We saw something we wanted. We bought it. Go shopping at the store. We didn't need clothes, but we bought them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like more discipline for sure. We cut out everything. We started shopping at Goodwill. The kids didn't get brand new clothes for school. We went to new to us. But
experienced clothing.
There you go.
Yeah. Our kids wore some experienced clothing from consignment shops, and you know what? None of them are in counseling because of it.
Right.
So not to my knowledge, anyway. They don't tell me what they say in counseling. But, so you brought the two kiddos with you, and what are their names and ages?
So this is Marguerite. She's 13. And my son Casey just turned 9 last month.
All right. Very cool. So how long have you been a single mom?
Oh, goodness. 6-7 years.
Okay. All right.
Oh, wow.
Wow. You are a hero.
Yes, you are.
And you know who really knows you're a hero? The one standing to your right and to your left. They watched Mom do what it takes to go win in a really tough situation when she was scared, and she went to fight. And she got it done. You're amazing.
Yep, they're
You're
my
amazing.
why.
They're a good why, but you don't even know what you set in motion by them watching you do this. I mean, Christy's mom's a single mom, raised her, and running a bakery, and the stuff that she learned watching her mom, by far better than anything I've ever taught.
Well, that's what it comes down to. You're not teaching them work ethic and character and perseverance by sitting them down and talking about it. You're living it out in front of them, and they're picking up on that, and they're going to have those character qualities that are forged in the fire of what they've watched you do, but what they've been in it with you. That's what's so key. See, I think as parents, we want to insulate our kids from any hardship. The fact that they were at Goodwill, shopping for clothes, experiencing some sacrifice short term.
Oh, and by the way, they're here when she wins the Super Bowl.
That's right.
On the
That's
stage,
exactly right.
Yeah, we got
cheering
new
her on.
boots.
That's
so
it.
we get to see the end of the story too.
The cowboy boots.
The next chapter in the story. It's
That's
absolutely incredible. So
Awesome.
you're truly a hero, lady.
It's impressive.
You're amazing. You are amazing. This is a great story. All right, so single mom with a couple of kiddos is out there listening right now, and she's scared. How does she get out of debt? What's the secret to getting out?
I think you need to decide to not be a victim anymore. My marriage was abusive, and I got a tattoo to remind me of it. And Proverbs 31:25, she's clothed with strength and dignity and laughs without fear of the future. And I decided not to be a victim in my marriage, so why be a victim anywhere else in my life?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
You're neat. You are so neat. I love this lady.
That's awesome.
Wow. And you have officially changed your family tree. Pretty impressive. How's it feel to be free?
It's incredible.
Yeah. Was it worth all that work?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Because now you make 60 to 100, somewhere in there, depending on how much
I'm going to
OT.
make like 130 this year at least.
Okay. Without all the OT?
With OT.
With some OT.
Yeah.
You don't have to work as hard. You're out.
No, well.
Okay. Just slow down a little bit. This is
Baby step 3B. I want to buy a house next year.
Yeah, I know. But she's
You're not going to stop her.
Hold her back. Hold her back. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, wow. Get them. I love it. Well done. Powerful story. Man. So it really came down to you just needed a path and something you believed in, and then you just went all in.
I just need instructions.
Yeah, and you just went crazy. You just poured on gas on the fire like crazy. That's impressive. Such a heroic thing. Just very, very well done. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Well done. Well, we got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you because you have changed your family tree, and that is the next chapter in your story. You're going to be a baby steps millionaire one of these days, and I'll be talking to you about that. It's not as far off as it might feel like in your emotions. Mathematically, you're closer than you think, and very, very impressive. And I'm going to give you a copy of the Total Money Makeover so you can give it away to somebody that you know it might be a little scared. It might take them a month to read it. Then when they pick it up, maybe they'll get some hope. And that's the idea of paying it forward. That's how we give it to you, what we give it to you for. So very, very good stuff. All right, Brittany, Marguerite, and Casey from Akron, Ohio. Absolute heroes. $95,000 paid off in 15 months, making 60 to 110. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
You ready? 3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Tears running down her daughter's cheeks say that her daughter will never be a victim.
That's right.
Not a chance.
And that was the takeaway.
Not a chance.
It wasn't financial. It was you're not a victim.
That family tree has changed. Not a chance there's a victim in that lineage. Not a chance. It's changed. Wow. This is The Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Our scripture of the day is Jeremiah 29:13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Thomas Edison said, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. That's a sad one right there. I often wonder the times I quit. Did I quit just before? Mm-hmm. Or did I quit like a year too late? I should have quit sooner because it was not going to work, you stupid fool, you know. Well,
held on a little too long.
I always get some fun feedback on Twitter when I post that quote. Winners never quit. Yes, they do. They quit doing stupid stuff on a regular basis,
It's just knowing when to quit.
What's the stupid stuff? Who knew? I didn't know it was stupid when I was doing it.
That's right.
By definition. Bailey is with us. Bailey is in Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, Bailey. How are you?
Hi, Dave and Christy. How are y'all?
Great. What's going on?
Okay, so I own a small business that I opened up earlier this year. I don't have any debt in the business, just my monthly expenses. And after paying for all my big purchases, like for equipment and stuff, I have about $6,000 in my business savings. I don't pay myself yet. Luckily, we're able to live off of my husband's income. And so our plan was to save up 6 months emergency fund for the business and the business savings, and then I would start paying myself. But a question that came up between me and my husband is we've been paying on the only debt we have are my student loans. So we've been paying on those since it's been zero interest this whole time, which has been pretty great.
Yeah.
We were thinking, should we just, back the business savings down to $1,000 and pretty much pay myself until they start back up January 31st and just hit the student loans hard instead of...
What does your husband make?
He makes almost $90,000.
Okay. What's your business?
Chiropractic office.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking through your expense, like what expenses you have, because the whole idea of an emergency fund anyway is for an emergency. I'm trying to think of what you would potentially even need that for in order to hold on to any of it.
So The reason why we were going to do that first is we are expecting a child at the end of January, but we already have money set aside to where all of like the delivery and all that cost is already going to be paid for. So we did.
And you don't count on the income from the chiropractic office anyway.
Correct.
Yeah. So being off with the baby doesn't hurt that part of the equation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is what's the revenues coming into the chiropractic office look like today?
Well, like gross. Last month,
your monthly gross.
Last month was $6,200. So it's steadily going up. Like I said, I just opened up earlier this month, starting from ground zero. And
you've already got $6,000 in savings.
Yes, sir. And that's after buying all my big equipment.
Yeah. Okay. Here we use a different formula on business with Entree Leadership and with Business Boutique than we do in personal finance. Okay. Mm-hmm. What I tell small business owners is this, and then let's adapt that idea to your situation. I tell them to pay themselves a basic living wage to support their household. Mm-hmm. With what's left over after that, that would be called your profit. And that profit can be split between two things: paying off debt in the business and building up a retained earnings. You don't have any debt, but you don't have a ton of income coming in yet. So what I would do is start paying yourself something.
Okay.
And then putting the balance towards retained earnings. And so if you said, I'm going to pay myself $4,000 a month, and I'm going to put everything else in retained earnings until I get to 6 months. Once you're at 6 months of retained earnings and you have no debt, then there's no reason to keep any more money in the office unless you're saving up for a piece of equipment.
Okay.
But so I mean, you need to start paying. If you're grossing $6,000, start paying yourself about $4,000. And let's dump 2 in there, and let's gradually, and we'll call that a living wage for today. What's the balance on the student loans?
Oh my.
Chiropractor, $200,000. About 200.
But a lot of them are, just every trimester I would get a new one. So there's about 20 that build up that, and so
you said the total. You said the total's about 200.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you pay you $4,000 for today, and it'd be more later as your practice builds and after the baby and so on, but that puts you at 48 plus 90 is 138 household income. Okay, to attack 200 with, and so then it depends on how much you're going to burn the house down at home in terms of scorched earth on the lifestyle as to how much you throw back at that. But if you throw 75 at it, you're done in 3 years.
Okay.
Out of 138. And and that's assuming your practice does not grow at all. Of course it's going to grow.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, so I'd set a 3-year or shorter goal for knocking that out between your income, his income, and no, you don't need to get any more than 6 months there. And right now the 6,000 is just fine in this situation. And if you add just a little bit to it, have a formula so you're adding a little bit to it.
And Bailey, way to go on starting this business with no debt, because so many people call in this show and they've got excuse after excuse of why they need business debt as if it's somehow some kind of different debt. And you didn't do that. You didn't add to your debt pile, and you're going to knock this out. Way to go. Well done.
There you go. Josh is with us. Josh is in Boise, Idaho. Hi, Josh. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you taking my call. Sure. Second of all, I'll give you a tiny bit of backstory because I know you're busy. But I'm a 31-year-old male, and I took over my dad's business about in 2009, right before the economy crash, the whole residential crash. And so when I did that, we were kind of struggling. I took the business over. It's starting to get good. But I made the mistake of not educating myself on taxes. And yes. And so what happened was I had my old man who I took the business over from, I had him talk me into having my sister do my taxes, who is not a CPA. And I got audited. and I racked up quite a bit of tax debt.
How much do you owe?
Well, at the time, it was about 15,000.
Yeah.
Which was kind of overwhelming for a young person like myself.
Yeah.
I'm now older, and I understand what I did wrong.
Yeah. What's your
my
question?
Is,
yeah.
Okay, my question is do you believe in the tax, the tax program where they just kind of let you slide? What do they call it?
OIC?
Yeah.
An offer and compromise? OIC?
Offer and compromise.
Yeah.
Offer and compromise.
Yeah.
I
believe it. It actually does occur, but it occurs so rarely that in my 30 years of doing what I do, I almost never see it get approved, because the IRS will only approve waiving your taxes if you are dead. I'm kidding you, but not much. I mean, you have to have zero income and zero assets and zero potential for income. You have to prove pauper status and a permanent version of it.
I've sold my truck.
I don't care.
I've sold my motorcycle.
You have a potential to make money. It's only $15,000. You're much better off to go get a job or do something and get the thing paid. Is the business still open?
Yes.
They're not going to do an OIC.
This is why I called you.
Yeah, they're not going to do an OIC. Somebody wants $10,000 for you to do this, and they're not going to get it. It's not going to happen.
Okay, so you're saying that $6,000 that I spent towards this company that said that they can get me off and compromise?
You got screwed.
Damn it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Get online at RamseySolutions.com and click on ELP for taxes and get with one of our real tax people who will walk you through what has to happen for an OIC. It's dadgum near impossible to get one through. I mean, I've seen like 6 of them in my whole life get through, and everybody tries it, and they all charge $6 to $10 grand each to do it. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. New listener survey. We want to know what you think about the show. You'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. No purchase necessary. Take the survey at RamseySolutions.com/survey or text survey to 33789.